Change. It can be big, it can be small, it can be good, it can be bad, and often it's a mix of both. Sometimes it's necessary and oftentimes it's wanted, but no matter what, change always comes with some uncertainty. I am about to start a new chapter in my life, probably the biggest chapter so far, and it terrifies me. However, my coming out and my journey to expressing my true self was also the start of a new chapter that terrified me at the beginning, and I'm so much happier now than I was back then. So, let's see if I can use some of what I've learnt about change over these past couple of years to help me out today. Hello my darlings, and welcome to my little corner of the internet, where I talk about the things that I've learnt and discovered about myself as a trans woman. I often say that accepting myself and beginning my gender affirmation journey to be the person you see on your screen right before you was the first decision that I ever made truly for myself. I put my needs above what others expected and thought I should be, and now I'm making a second big decision just for myself. Very soon I shall be leaving Quebec, my home for the past 5 years and the home of my transition, not only to pursue bottom surgery, but also to pursue the idea of nursing shortly after my recovery. It has been a massive ordeal, and I feel that my thoughts and feelings around this decision are eerily similar to those that I had when I was first coming to terms with my identity. I would offer you a seat to talk about this, but I no longer have one. Well, I hope you don't mind the floor because I really want to sit down for this one. One of the things that I've been pondering is, am I being selfish? I remember thinking for months and honestly years before my eventual coming out that it would be selfish for me to do so. I was in a relationship, people expected things of me, I had a decent life, and I thought it was selfish of me to think about something that would make me happy at the expense of making people disappointed, heartbroken, or upset. I felt like I should have been happy with what I had, and people relied on me to be who I was. And now I find myself leaving a job, leaving friends, leaving my little family, and I can't help but feel like I'm back in that mindset that I'm letting others down. Yet I'm not coming out, not pursuing my happiness. That is what would let people down even more. Before I came out, my gender dysphoria was just getting worse and worse, and it caused me to be emotionally absent from my relationship and caused me to distance myself from friends and family. Things would have only have gotten worse if I kept on that mask, and I would have slowly destroyed every relationship I had. And in that same vein, I know that right now, if I continued at my current job, if I continue to live in this place that I don't ever think will truly feel like home, I'd more than likely slowly drive myself to misery. I'd struggle to keep up with work, I'd turn up later and later, and I'd procrastinate and do a bad job. And I would likely continue to feel socially unsatisfied, which would likely lead me to push away the friends that I do have. Coming out, I gave people the chance to accept me, to get to know me and love me for who I really am, rather than letting them watch me get more distant and unsatisfied. Now this time, I will allow my work to find someone who is better prepared to take over from me, someone who will deliver consistently and be happier in that position. And I can still keep in contact with my friends here, and I believe that in pursuing my happiness, I will be more available as a friend and more enjoyable to be around. So maybe it can be seen as selfish in some ways, as ultimately I am putting myself first, but that's not always a bad thing. Any form of self-care can be seen as selfish because ultimately you are doing that just for yourself. Coming out and being me has ultimately led me to be closer with my family and have more authentic friendships. So I'm hoping that this new chapter will lead to a happier me and a more enjoyable person to be around. And that nicely leads me to my next worry. Will it actually lead to a happier me? Will it be worth it? What if it's not actually what I'm missing? In regards to being trans, I have a whole video on imposter syndrome and worrying if I really was. There always was that doubt when I thought about coming out, transitioning, all of those obstacles that I would have to overcome. What if, at the end of it, it wasn't worth it? And I find myself asking the same question about nursing. Will it be worth it? Going back to university, it will be another 2 years of my life, all of my life savings plus going into more debt just to pursue something that I think is the right career for me. What if I get there and I don't enjoy it? What if I find myself eventually back in this exact same situation of not feeling satisfied with my career? They are all things that I don't feel like I can know for certain, and anxiety is a real meanie. And I think for accepting my trans identity, it was partly accepting that doubt, but also asking myself, what if I'm right? I'd already let so many years pass, not experimenting with my gender, not letting myself question further. What happens if I continue coming back to that question and losing even more time under that mask? What if by just putting in that effort, taking that leap of faith, I actually get closer to happiness? What would be the worst thing that could happen? I lose my friends and family, but if they couldn't accept a trans person, I wouldn't want to be friends or keep in contact with them anyway. And even if I wasn't trans at the end, that uncertainty, that questioning would finally be answered, and I would be at peace with whatever the end result was. It turned out that I was right. I am trans, and because of that leap of faith, I am now more confident in myself than I ever have been. Deciding to leave and study is a little different. It will have a huge financial impact if I am wrong, and I will lose a job that allows me to live a comfortable life. But what if I am satisfied at the end of this? I will end up with a qualification, and I will end up better understanding myself, and I'll experience new things. I can always go back. I have experiences, and there will be opportunities for me to better figure myself out. Yes, I will have less financial security, but if I'm happier, I'm sure I can tough it out. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is grief. The beginning of a new chapter means the end of an old one, and no matter how we feel about it, we will likely miss how some things were before. I know that I missed the extra security I felt when walking around alone when I was perceived as a man. I also miss how some of my relationships were before I came out, and in some ways, I missed the life that I had envisioned for myself. This time, the biggest thing I have to grieve is the loss of my little family, my rats and my cat. Rest assured that they are in very good hands with loving families, but saying goodbye has been heartbreaking. Saying goodbye to the city too, and my friends, it's a lot. I think, just like I bargained with myself that I'd transition when my parents were no longer around, I tried to bargain with myself to avoid this grief, to stay longer or just to give up. Yet, I don't think it's healthy to wait. It most certainly wasn't the case with transition, and there's always a certain amount of grief that we can't avoid, and that's okay. Life isn't always happy, and we shouldn't always avoid negative emotions. They're unavoidable, and I'd argue necessary. Just as taking steps to say goodbye to my life as being perceived as a man were hard and came with pain and grief, this journey will come with very much the same. However, it will lead to a better future, one where I have fewer regrets, and I'm doing my best to trust in that decision. Starting a new chapter is scary. It can be really difficult, and it can demand sacrifice. Yet, I don't believe that anything truly worth it comes for free. We must always put in effort, take some risks, dive a little into that uncertainty and unknown. But there are limits to what we can handle, and in times of big change it is important to be kind to ourselves, accept that we may not be able to work at 100%, and there is always some bad that comes with the good. My trans journey so far has taught me so much, and without my trans experience and acceptation, I don't think I would have ever had the courage to change the course of my life to this direction that I believe will make me happier. I hope that wherever you are on your journey, even if you haven't come out yet, you can take some confidence away from this. Know that your confidence will grow if you take steps to be you, if you prioritize your happiness. The journey to it isn't a straight line, and it's not smooth sailing, but I believe in you, no matter what new chapter you want to start now or in the future, just like I finally believe in myself. Well, thank you for making it to the end of the video and being here on the floor with me. My leg is completely dead, so I hope that yours isn't. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more like it. And as always, feel free to leave a comment with any questions or advice you may have. And if you want to hear more from me, feel free to follow me on Blue Sky. But as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!